Hello and welcome to episode 100 of the Perth to Paisley podcast, the podcast dedicated to Heart of Midlothian Football Club. Somehow, we have made it to 100 episodes. And who are we? Obviously, it is myself, Daniel McIver, and as ever, the founder of the Perth to Paisley blog that started all of this, Adam Kennedy. Adam, how are you on this 100th episode anniversary?
Thank you, mate. I was going to say I'm very well, but that would be a massive lie. So I'm going to say that I'm okay. That's as good as you're going to get from me, given that pathetic performance at the weekend. But on the bright side, we have a European group stage fixture to look forward to, which is less than 24 hours away as we record. So I'm silently shitting myself. And we've seen the Old Firm go down in Europe. Scottish football is in a sad state when it's relying on Heart Midlothian to fly the flag, so to speak. 3 to Real Madrid for Celtic, 4 to Ajax for Rangers, and it better not be 5 to Istanbul Başakşehir for the famous jam tarts. But on the whole, I'm not bad, mate. How are you?
I'm doing pretty much the same, basically. But the main point is, yes, 100 episodes. Inexplicably, there's been people here for all 100. We've been through a lot, and of course, as Adam hinted at, of course, the 100th episode is going to be mainly speaking about a terrible performance in Livingston because it's on brand. That's only
this football club could do. Yeah, exactly. Why would you bother to try and win the game to make this a momentous episode?
Exactly.
Like 50 was too perfect with Liam Boyce and that win over Celtic. So, it's had to come round in some fashion.
Definitely. Just as a heads up, last week we spoke about potentially having a special guest on. We have got the guest sorted, but due to just admin-based issues, we can't get them on for this episode. However, in the foreseeable future, we will get them on. And we'll just reference the fact on that episode that it was the planned episode 100 thing. There's nothing any of us can do about it ourselves or the guests, totally out of all of our hands, but hope you understand. However, we wanted to start by just kind of speaking about the podcast because it is insane. Me and Adam have been speaking about it this week that somehow you're all still here. And I wanted to let's go back down memory lane because as we sit here, as Adam said, this is on the eve of Hearts about to play European group stage football for the first time since 2004-05 season. The first episode of the Perth to Paisley podcast was released on the 16th of December 2019, and we were then talking about how Daniel Stendhal had lost his first game in charge against St Johnstone at home. A Callum Hendry goal allowed the Saints to beat us at Tynecastle, with Sean Clare being booed off as he was subbed. And it meant that we were sat joint bottom of the league after 18 games with Hamilton Accies on 12 points. So, Adam, my question to you is when we decided to start this show and sat down in our first episode, what is now nearly 3 years ago, which is crazy to think about considering time has become obsolete with the pandemic very much in the middle of that. Did you think in what is relatively such a short period of time, we would be here 100 episodes later about to play European group stage football?
I think I need to split up that question into two parts.
Yep.
Do I think we would be here 100 episodes later? Absolutely not. And I certainly didn't envisage that it would be prior to a European match. I've got to be honest, you say that there's people that have listened to this from the very get-go. How they've not discovered another hobby in near enough 3 years is beyond me. But thank you all very much. I mean, I think if we are being serious about the podcast for a second, it's given us some opportunities within, I could think of radio in particular. It's allowed us to have people on that we wouldn't usually get the chance to speak to. And it is crazy to think that I did start as a blog, then decided that I couldn't be bothered. I was just too lazy and it's easier to speak my mind, even though my writing is probably better than anything I've ever said, ever. So, yeah, here we are. So it is mental. And look, there's loads of us that love this football club, that care for this football club. We are just two geezers off the street that share a love for Hearts just like anybody else. So the fact that we record it and there's people want to listen to our thoughts or want to come in and listen and slate our thoughts is
that's much more likely. It's definitely that.
It's definitely the latter. But thank you very much if you've listened for even 10 seconds, because we really do appreciate it.
And that's the thing, like, I know it doesn't seem like it, considering how much shite we talk, but a lot of work does go into this. It is now for 3 years dedicating hours every week to sitting down, recording, editing, uploading, Twitter, social media in general, plugging it and stuff like that. So it does take time. And I feel like, as Adam has said, we would want to do it anyway because it's speaking about Hearts. We're doing that anyway in our free time, so we might as well put it online. But the fact that so many people have like come towards this and stuck around, we're getting really close. Actually, it's almost coincided to 100,000 total listeners, which is absolutely baffling and terrifying, and just, it wouldn't affect anything. We would still be doing it, but it does mean a lot that people are enjoying it. And there is, like, when I'm walking to games or at games and people kind of say hi and stuff like that, it makes you feel closer to the fan base, in my opinion anyway. I don't know about you, you might disagree, but I just feel like it has. And it's also because all the other podcasts, we all interact, we all know each other, and it does feel like a more tight-knit community.
Yeah, it does. Sorry, but 100,000 total listeners. I'm just going to be standing at Tiny tomorrow thinking, how the hell has 5 times the equivalent of this little cauldron decided to listen to our podcast? That is crazy. But yeah, I mean, in terms of like chatting to people on Twitter or whatever, or in person, the pod's good. We get a fair bit of, you know, chat back and forth, not just between the two of us every week, but about Hearts that people might not necessarily, like, they might not have anybody to talk to about Hearts, which is good. So yeah, we can provide, you know, a home for you to come and chat about Hearts, even if you don't feature on the podcast every week.
Absolutely. Very well put. And here's to hopefully 100 more. We'll probably be back in the Championship at that point, but we'll still be here.
Bouncing in and around the divisions. We'll get, you know, we'll try and get some actual players on as well. That'd be a bonus, rather than, you know, Richard Cobb begging for a third appearance as he so often does.
He definitely does. Anyway, we will now speak about the club itself, because a lot has happened this week. A lot has happened.
Woo!
Hooray! The first thing we'll speak about is a positive thing. The transfer window obviously closed last week.
Judging by some's reaction, that's not a positive thing. But
yeah, of course.
Carry on. I'm interested to see where you go with this.
However, we have made a few signings. The first one being Stephen Humphreys, who is... I've seen a lot of people refer to him as a journeyman striker. I think journeyman's a bit harsh.
That's disrespectful as well.
Yeah, like he's been in a few clubs. Like, it's just that they've been lower league clubs. Like, that's fine. He signed on loan from Wigan, almost at the last minute. It made a lot of people think we were going to make a lot more signings, I think, and I kind of felt a wee bit bad for him, because when he was announced, the main reaction seemed to just be, right, can we get some more, please? Which I felt a wee bit bad for him in that sense, if you know what I mean.
Fan base turned into Oliver Twist, didn't we? Yeah, I really, I mean, I do feel for the bloke. I particularly feel from, given what happened on Saturday. Yeah. I mean, he must have made his debut on that Astro thinking, what the hell have I signed for here?
Well, that's a very fair point, because he said in his Hearts TV interview that he actually spoke to Graham Shinney, and that Shinnie sold the club in terms of the facilities and the size of it are what he called Premier League standards. And he said, the exact quote is, the gaffer showed me around, it's incredible. I'm used to going to places like Oldham and Rotherham, no disrespect to them, but I come here, see the facilities, and it's like I'm at Man United or it's like I'm at Liverpool. These are the step up that I'm making. Obviously, it means that I need to make that step up. Used to go and just get a shower after the game and in the car, whereas here I've got a sauna, a gym, shower room, everything I need. However, it means that I get to react. I'm a big player. I want to be here.
Very complimentary, and it's particularly reassuring over the last few years prior to our relegation stroke demotion, where you had an abundance of players that evidently didn't want to be here. So I like that he's got a point to prove. But in terms of the actual signing, I know that there's a lot of fans that are left underwhelmed. Personally, I'm not going to say a word about the guy till I've seen at least 5-10 appearances. And I could say for definite, I'm obviously going to comment week by week. Mm-hmm. I didn't think it was a particularly brilliant debut, but that's it's not that I'm instantly going to write him off after that. It'd be very hypocritical of me in particular to come on here and say, oh, do you know what? He's not bagged on his debut or he's not looked threatening or anything like that and just instantly write him off, because I'm the polar opposite. When strikers get off to a good start in a Hearts shirt, I'm the one telling everybody to just settle, just calm down. So I'm not going to build him to high heaven. I'm equally not going to tear him to shreds. And we all want him to succeed in a Hearts shirt. So surely let's get behind the guy rather than slating him at every available opportunity, like it seems some have made their mind up from the very start and will do so.
Very, very well said. The window then closed with no other permanent signings coming in. I'm going to speak about that a bit later because other people have come in. So I want to speak about the window as a whole when we get to the last person who's come in. However...
Isn't it amazing how everybody was all of a sudden slating the entire transfer window because we lose a couple of key players, haven't replaced them to what we'd maybe like, and all of a sudden that just writes off the fact that we've signed what appears to be pretty well. I mean, there really is no satisfying football fans at all. I don't know if that's just solely on a Hearts basis, but I can imagine at every single club, or the vast majority of clubs, you'll have fans saying, we should have gone in for so-and-so instead of so-and-so, and oh, this is, how do we look weaker? And not let's just let it play out and see what happens. See where we get taken.
No, that's not how it works, Adam. You're a football fan. You have to be reactionary. You have to just say what you want to say, and that's it. There's no ramifications to it.
I've changed over a century of episodes.
I know, exactly.
I really have. This podcast has done wonders for me.
However, another face did come in. On Friday afternoon, around 1 p.m, was tipped off to a potential signing that then slowly Hearts Twitter started to grab, and there was rumours that...
I want to know who your source is. You sound like Scott Burns.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not revealing your source.
There was rumours that the free agent, inexplicably, Xander Clark, was making his way to Tynecastle, and then that night it was confirmed. He signed a 3-year deal with us. I don't know if he's agreed to be a backup keeper. I don't know if we're thinking, well, we want to phase him in to be the first team keeper, so him and Gordon are going to play a wee bit more games. However, it's been a signing that has been met very positively. Speaking to the Hearts official website, Robin Nielsen said, we've been working away on this one for a while, so I'm delighted to get it over the line. I'm sure our fans will know all about Xander's abilities, having seen him feature against us for St Johnstone over the years, so it's great to be able to bring him here to Hearts. We look for quality players, and that's what we've got in Xander. He'll provide competition to Craig Gordon and Ross Stewart, which will ultimately raise the quality of performances in our squad. What is your thoughts on Hearts signing Xander Clark?
Just as well you asked me that. It's nice to know that Hearts take an interest into a variety of players that I recommend. So that's great. I mean, I did pipe up that Xander Clark was a free agent. You couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. No. It's just nice that they act upon it. in terms of the gaffer's statement, he is at it with a competition to Craig Gordon and Ross Stewart. Like, come on. he's just thrown that in there just willy-nilly. And as somebody that takes what the gaffer says sometimes too seriously, I fully rate the patter. I've got to commend it. But a good signing. Look, it does seem like it's successor vibes for me. I just don't want to think about Hearts without Craig Gordon.
We've already had to go through that when we were younger. Now we're going to have to go through it now.
And at least then we received a then British record transfer fee, whereas this one's going to hurt even more just because that's going to be it, and nobody's going to.
Well, now we've got Xander Clark. That's the fullback.
Do you know what? I'll take it because out of the two that are sort of tipped to succeed Craig Gordon for Scotland, Liam Kelly and Xander Clark, I think both are decent. I can't see Liam Kelly leaving Motherwell anytime soon. And it's a no-brainer for me. I mean, I was going to say he's only 30. We all know in football, for a goalkeeper, that's nothing.
Yeah.
3-year deal to me makes total sense. The perfect amount of time for Craig to just, dare I say it, ease himself out of being Hearts club captain and number one, and a ready-made replacement there and then. I think it's an absolute no-brainer for the club. So a great signing, and one that we both actually put forward, which is nice.
Exactly. 100th episode, somebody celebrate. We got a signing right. So
that's the only
absolutely
thing
rubbish.
Constantly to celebrate this episode. That and a return to European football, which we'll come to.
Well,
but do you know what? Let's just, positivity to start. Come on.
Well, that positivity is dead now because Hearts played at the weekend.
Oh, brilliant.
However, we'll speak about the other games first. And to be honest,
depends on your definition of played, actually.
Yeah, that's
to be honest.
true.
Hearts turned up or tried to turn up.
I was about to say, didn't even really turn up. However, there were other games, and there's not a lot of positivity to be found there either. There was a small matter of the first Old Firm of the season, where Celtic just absolutely wiped the floor with Giovanni Van Bronckhorst's Rangers. Leo Labada is just a broken human being, as is Jota. As is all of them. It's not fair. It shouldn't be allowed to happen. Hibs go back to winning ways after 10-man killie. Ash Taylor got sent off in 10 minutes. They won 1-0.
No Lee Johnson in the dugout. What a buzz.
Yeah, exactly. I hope he's all right because that sounded really worrying. Like
a gallbladder operation. Is that right?
Yeah. So I hope he's okay.
But wish him all the best. Despite being, one of them.
Dundee United continued their kind of turn up in form since sacking Jack Ross, as Hamilball stuttered again as they drew 0-0 between Motherwell and Dundee United. Ross County and Aberdeen left it late in both accounts as Aberdeen took the lead, but then right in the last second, Ross County equalised. And St Johnstone, very surprisingly, absolutely battered St Mirren. New signing Nicky Clark getting on the score sheet as well. What do you make of the other 5 games?
First and foremost, let's touch on the most recent fixture there. Great to see that St Mirren are entering this weekend's fixture on the back of a 3-0 defeat to St Johnstone. Regardless of our result on Thursday, I really hope that that's an absolute seeing on Sunday. The Old Firm had Celtic to win. Didn't think it would be as comprehensive as that. I find myself saying that about a couple Old Firms recently. The one in February as well was exactly the same, where they just blew them out the water. Hibs, Kelly. Why can Kelly win at Tynecastle all the time, but not at Easter Road?
Yeah.
That's incredibly annoying. Obviously, it doesn't help matters, like you say, with the red card so early on, changing that game. Love how we keep referencing Hamilball as though that's going to be a thing for all of Stevie Hamill's, tenure as Motherwell manager. But how they didn't beat Dundee United, I will never know.
No idea.
Kevin Van Veen missed a penalty. I think he missed the chance to score in something like 4 Premiership games on the bounce, which is very impressive. Dundee United, I actually think Liam Fox might get that job.
He could, He could.
I think he could. I think the whole... I don't know, there's sort of a, not a debate surrounding Duncan Ferguson, but it was sort of chucked out there and nothing's really motored on. And he's unattached because he's left Everton. Oh, so would that. It'd be box office for the league.
Yeah.
But you'd have thought that when he's unattached, United would just pounce and make their move.
Yeah.
Because they had no hesitance in giving a relatively inexperienced manager, Tam Courts, the job. I know that he'd managed Kelty before, but I don't know, strange. What was the other game? Dingwall, Ross County, Aberdeen. Had 1-0 Aberdeen, but I was delighted to see that late county equaliser. Stupendous stuff. And what a goal it was from the boy, Duke, for Aberdeen as well. And the limbs behind the goal looked great. Jim Goodwin I saw celebrating in like the bottom of the picture when there's that video of the fans, and he's giving a wee skipper a come on. But great to see them all leave Dingwall far from delighted. So yeah, premium cinch, best league in the world. But it's just a shame that the top two are so far above everybody else.
Yeah.
But yet this week seems to hammer home that they've still got levels to go after that in Europe.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking about levels, Hearts did not meet any levels that were expected.
Honestly, I hate this ground so much, man.
I was about to say, you hate this lot, so it was even worse for you.
At this point, I don't even have like a personal vendetta against Livingston. I actually kind of like Davy Martindale because I think love
Martindale.
I think the job that he's doing is just brilliant.
Yeah.
And I thought they were really unlucky actually to miss out on top 6 last year.
Yeah.
I kind of want them to get it this year.
So do I.
Because then I think, would we play them at Tynecastle again after the split?
Yeah, because I think we played them twice
before the split.
Yeah,
great. But again, I have the severe fear regarding this fixture. That 5-0 has scarred me for life. I'm just never going back to Livingston. I don't care the circumstance. I can't bring myself to do it. And I really, really feel for those that did bother to make the trip through on Saturday, because that was quite frankly embarrassing, pitiful, dreadful, an absolute shambles. What a shower of shite.
Well, you've summed it up quite well, but just for the continuity of the podcast, we'll go through it as we turned up to the Tony Macaroni in a 4-2-3-1.
Sorry, yeah? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but like, we're going to talk about the game. I've not even watched the highlights back. I can't bring myself to do it.
We're not going to analyse it in a typical way. We're going to make general statements because that's kind of just the tagline of this show anyway, so we're fine. Cool. So, Gordon in goals. Back four of Cochrane, Kingsley, Nielsen and Civic. Devlin and Halliday in the middle. Mackay, Grant and GMS in behind the debuting Stephen Humphreys. Now, it was everything you just said, barring the first 15 minutes, where actually the first 15 minutes were really good.
Quite good.
And unbelievably...
Sean Connor.
Yeah, exactly. Unbelievably, a lot of that came through Gary Mackay-Steven.
I couldn't believe it. I thought my eyes were deceiving me. It was as though he'd pulled on a Dundee United, a Celtic or an Aberdeen shirt again.
It was very strange.
I genuinely thought if he maintains this, I'm going to have to take back everything I've ever said about him.
Yeah.
Because you're right. Last week or the week prior, I was saying that all he can do is put a ball in from a set piece. But he actually was like rolling back the years. I think it was Nicky Devlin. Was it Nicky Devlin at right back?
Yeah, it was.
He seemed to have him on toast and was kind of getting a couple decent deliveries into the box for the new fella. And actually did look a real threat on the left-hand side. So, do you know what? I have no qualms about his performance for a quarter of an hour. It's just I've had
the football games on 90 minutes.
it's like it goes back to the old saying, it's the following 75 that I pick he and his teammates out, because crikey.
So yeah, a ball was played over the top for Humphreys, who clearly has some ton of pace in him despite being an absolute unit. And he just kind of gets under it and can't direct it goalwards. George Grant has a huge chance where he gets it played into him and just has the whole goal to aim for and goes for the near post and misses it completely and puts it into row Z. Cochrane sings a great ball in and it just goes over the head of everybody. You can hear at that point the cameras pick up Obalai, turn to his defensive partners and go, I need fucking help with him, speaking about Humphreys. And for me, this is the big thing. Clearly, David Martindale heard that because on 15 minutes, he made a tactical change. he changed to just a complete flat 4-3-3 with 3 sitting midfielders, and Joel Nouble went out on the left-hand side. And that apparently meant our squad just collapsed completely, because Livingston from that moment on bullied us in basically every single section of the park. And very, very shortly after that change, only 10 minutes later, Livingston do open the score, and the free kick's given away now down near the dugouts. It's swung in. We're trying to play a high line, which, in fairness, the high line has worked quite well often this season. We've been very well disciplined. However, Stephen Humphreys was completely... This is my story, made the excellent point on Twitter. He was completely hung out to dry because he was told to be the last man in the high line. And if you've watched football even for a second, you know that that is the person who has to be the most disciplined, because you're basically in charge of how deep the line is. That takes a lot of training sessions, a lot of tactical sessions, knowing your teammates. It doesn't take a guy who arrived 30 hours before, who's a big striker unit, who doesn't have many defensive natural tendencies, to be in charge of that. What happens is the line moves up, he's a yard behind, and it allows Jefferson Montano to sit in that little pocket on the penalty spot. The entire Hearts defence put their hand up and go, well, that's definitely offside. However, as we can see in the replay, it isn't. He's onside. And it does take the replay. So fair play to the linesman, I'll say that, for realising that he was actually onside. Because a lot of referees and linesmen, I think, would have just flagged for offside, seeing the reaction, seeing such a high line.
And dare I say it, we've seen a fair few of our fuck-ups in recent footballing matches, all over. So that's reassuring that the officials actually do get it right, because they are onside. This goal, to me, absolutely reeks of Ibrox under Levine.
That bit where we just ran forward. I don't think it's as bad as that, personally, because that's the worst thing I've ever
Nothing
seen.
will be as bad as that, because the Rangers players then were in disbelief as to how have we just sprung this. I was in the home end that day, and it was one of the worst experiences of my life. I'll never put myself through that
you've
again.
Seen some shit, man.
I really have. I need to stop following Hearts away from home.
Yeah,
Plain and simple. I really do. Yeah. Do you know what? This is where I pick fault with a selection, or not even selection. Just, is it ignorance to an extent? We've known that prior to Liam Boyce's injury, we've only really rolled with Shankland and Boyce up front. Those were the only two recognised strikers that we planned to go into this campaign with.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Stephen Humphreys' fault. He's thrown in at the deep end to make his debut here. Robbie clearly has one eye on Thursday night, so decides to rest Shankland. I get people's criticism with regards to not starting Shankland. I was probably in that same category, but then on reflection, had we signed another striker well before Boyce's injury that isn't the calibre of Liam Boyce or Lawrence Shankland, then they'd probably be tasked with going up front. So it's a little bit of a lack of preparation. It's a lack of Stephen Humphreys not knowing his teammates. But it's fair play to Livingston, because they know exactly what they're doing. I think Livingston set pieces go pretty well.
Yeah.
When you're playing Livingston, they don't blow you away, but they're a good, solid unit. They're well disciplined. They stick to their jobs. They know exactly what to do, and they make it tough, regardless of whichever venue you play them at. And in all honesty, I mean, we made them look very, very good. And they were decent, don't get me wrong, but I think it's the fact that we were so poor that was more annoying to me, and the goal just highlights it. And there's various chances that I'm assuming you'll get onto that we give up that are just as bad. We're just lucky that we don't get punished for them.
There's one where Jason Holt breaks on the edge of the box and Gordon has to make a really good save, palms it around the his left-hand side post, he goes with his other hand. There's the Isma chance that I was
How
just like...
on God's green earth does he not score? I literally thought this was a cert. I tweeted out, my stats regarding the game in terms of my preview, all that, surprised at how good our record was against Livingston, and thought, do you know what? With the slump that we find ourselves in, I could easily see a 1-0 defeat. And then I was looking through their team and I'm thinking, it's going to be Jason Holt, or it's going to be Isma Goncalves. And oh my God, the sigh of relief that he misses a sitter. And he'll be devastated that he's missed that.
Yeah.
Because it's laid on a plate for him. And how he doesn't tuck it is beyond me. He's had a funny start, actually, to his Livingston career. Because I think he got sent off in one of their League Cup games.
Yeah, he did.
And then Martindale was raging and he barely featured. And then Bruce Anderson gets injured, or has been injured for a while. And then he sort of turns to Isma as if to say, oh, shit, I'm going to have to start playing you. I've not really got an abundance of players to pick from. So, yeah, that was... I mean, again, that was a warning sign. I tell Hearts every week, kill the contest. That gave me hope, because it's that type of chance that you pass up that usually a competent side that you're playing against punish you for. Only we weren't a competent side, and we were thankful they left their shooting boots at home, but we didn't even have our passing or our dribbling boots with us. We had absolutely nothing. We had Crocs on or whatever, like Timberland boots, probably most of that 11.
Nothing else happened in the game. There's nothing else to speak about.
Dead.
We had
So
6 shots,
dead.
none on target. The main person I want to speak about is Joe Nubley. He just absolutely bodied everybody at all stages. He doesn't do a lot with it, but he gets into spaces and just
brings others into play at times. Yeah, he knows it. He knows exactly what he's doing, and he's the perfect physical specimen. When he's big, strong, quick, good with his feet, got everything really, which is amazing why he's not, a bit more of a prolific goal scorer. I think that's the main thing amongst Hearts fans I alluded to it a couple of weeks ago, when you've got Michael Stewart, Alan Preston, whoever. I don't know if Alan Preston's his agent, but there's various of them that seem to tout him for a Hearts move, when, again, like I'd said to you earlier, Shankland and Boyce were our only 2 senior options up front. So a disappointing day at the office, but let's be honest, that could have maybe not been as bad as another 5-0, but it could have been 3-4, definitely.
I want to ask you your thoughts on Nielsen's comments, because in what I can remember, this is the first time since he's come back that he's just completely slowing the players. I don't even really remember him doing it after Brora or the Queen of the South game, because I think after those games he was like,
to take the brunt
he
of that,
took the blame. Yeah, exactly. We need to stick together and stuff like that. What he said was, on Hearts TV, he was like, we played well for the opening 10-15 minutes, but then we're terrible for the remaining time. No fight. This club is built on the foundation of fighting, as the fans saved this football club. There was no fight from these players, and these fans deserve far better. They're coming in tomorrow, and we need to make sure that a performance like that never happens again, because it was very, very poor.
I'm one to pick up.
It was really funny
on what he says, but I can't. He's hit the nail on the head. I can't possibly disagree with any of that.
You saw loads of fans on Twitter getting raging and waiting for Robbie's wee interview to come out and potentially say that he's blamed the ref, he's blamed the pitch, he's blamed the team. Do you think he's run
out of things to blame?
No, I think that was a performance where it was like, because I'm always of the opinion that, it's completely pointless to just come out and slow your team
sometimes, but he would have been clutching at straws had he blamed any of that.
He's not an idiot. He knows that we were just terrible.
Put it this way: after the Parkhead defeat, I knew he was going to come out and slate the red cards. There is there's no saving grace whatsoever. There's no excuse that can be made. That was just shite. That was a pish performance, and he's come out, held his hands up, and acknowledged that. So I can't possibly go in on the gaffer for that. It's actually somewhat refreshing to see him come out and say, do you know what? We were shite today, and maybe that's the kick up the arse that some of the players need. Because there's obviously an abundance of fixtures, and that's not good enough domestically, so it certainly ain't going to be good enough continentally either.
Well, before we get to that, there is one more piece of news, because yesterday...
Thank God we're done talking about that game. But we're talking about a man that started his career there. So
exactly. We signed them just after we played them, for God's sake. Why couldn't they have come in a week before? We, out of nowhere, it seems, dipped back into the free agent market. And despite being linked to clubs like Hamilball, Motherwell, and Ayr, even at some points. Yeah, but this was just because I think his agent was kind of just like, oh, we've been linked with Ayr, so if other clubs want to come in, we definitely go there instead of going to Ayr. We didn't want to go to Ayr. Yeah, according to people on Twitter, I saw Motherwell fans saying, why was he linked with us and Ayr?
I mean, I only go to Ayr for uni. That's the affiliation that I've got with Ayr. I'm astounded, having watched Ayr United a couple of times last season, that they're top of the championship. Then they put my mate in goal, so they are the table toppers. The honest men are flying. Honestly, that would be just tremendous. I beg they get up. An away day on my doorstep. Yes, please sign me up.
Well, we're now not going to mention Ayr again.
No, that's your first and last mention on the pod. Enjoy your basement battle from here on in.
Exactly.
See you at Somerset soon.
But yeah, out of nowhere, Heart of Midlothian signed free agent today as we're recording this, 35-year-old.
Happy birthday, Bobby boy.
It very much came out of nowhere. Now, before we get into your thoughts, I will say he's almost definitely signed as a number 10 because he's an old man now. He can't run. So he's clearly been signed as a 10, and that's what he said in his Hearts TV interview. He was like, a lot of people will think of me as a wide player, but in more recent years I've been playing centrally. As the Aston Villa...
I'm not being funny. We've got enough aging wingers that don't have legs as it is, Robert, so no thanks.
As the Aston Villa fans sang about him, he's not exactly what you'd call two-footed. He's very much just left-footed, but that left foot is class.
Nice left peg. Is that my old man?
Yeah. To be honest, that was my first thought. He's exactly like your dad. What was your thought?
Lovely left peg, but his right foot's only for standing on. No, I better shut up and respect my elders. Yeah, very pleased actually with the signing. I think it's a bit of a no-brainer, actually, McIver, if I'm honest with you. I'm usually one that's crying out for creativity. I think he'll give us that. I really hope that this isn't a Danny Swanson-esque signing, as we saw in Nielsen's first tenure. I hope that this is very much a case of being rested for these league matches, because obviously European registration is not in question.
What do you make of that? I was going to ask you that. What do you make of that?
Robbie alluded to that in his pre-Istanbul presser.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pleased with that, to be honest.
So
I really think that in the domestic games where we're expected to break teams down, it gives us something different, and is a creative spark, or hopefully can be a creative spark that we're missing at present. So again, a 1-year deal, I really think it's a bit of a no-brainer, if I'm honest. The beauty is he does well, gets kept on, does shite, binned off. I love how we're going about duration of deals now, and have done virtually ever since Joe Savage has joined. If that's Craig Levein, that's a 2-3 year deal minimum.
Yeah.
And chances are he's pish and is wanting hounded out the door inside 6 months to a year. So very, very pleased on the whole.
Yeah, I'm happy with it. I understand the concerns in terms of his age, totally. And if we do end up using him primarily as a winger, that's a worry, but I just don't think we will. I get why people would worry about it, but I just don't think we would do that. Purely
that
just
seems
because...
to be only if there's, again, sorry to interrupt, a plethora of players on the treatment table and we've got no option.
Extenuating circumstances.
A very last resort,
Yeah, very happy. As Robbie said, speaking to both Hearts TV and today in his press conference previewing the Conference League game, he brings a wealth of experience that pretty much only Gordon has to the side, and it's an outfield aspect of it as well. Very good technical player. And yeah, I'm very happy with it personally.
A great tutor for younger players in the squad as well. I mean, you need only look at the career the guy's had. A top player for Scotland at a time where the national team was struggling. He was sort of somebody that we were looking to depend upon at one particular stage. Just very pleased that a sensible signing.
Definitely. And speaking about that, I want to now get your thoughts on the transfer window as a whole. Because that's it now done. Robbie has confirmed that we won't be going back into the free agent market for the foreseeable unless something exceptional happens. But I will now read to you all the signings we have made this summer. We have made signing of Lawrence Shankland for a reported fee of around 400k. Orestes Kiyomotaro, oh, Jesus Christ, I just saw how much we paid for him. I don't think this is true. There's no way we can have paid 460k. I read that we apparently paid around 300k. That might be in euros. That might be in euros, actually.
300 was the figure I heard, but
yeah,
a wee chunk. You're going to ask me about the signings. My main annoyance is that we haven't got the bloody visa sorted out yet.
I know. We've registered Keogh for the squad in terms of Europe, just in the hope that we have him at some point in
Robert
one of the
Snodgrass
games.
will be kicking himself if he doesn't get an appearance.
Exactly. But yes.
Why can we not have sorted this sooner?
Kiyomotaro has come in from Holland. Then on freeze, we got Alan Forrest, Robert Snodgrass, Lewis Nielsen, although that's a bit debatable, and Xander Clark. And then for unknown fees, we have Kai Rolls, Alex Cochrane, George Grant, and then finally, the one loan transfer that we've made is Stephen Humphreys on loan from Wigan. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 signings. In terms of the outs, we let go, obviously, John Souttar, who left for Rangers, Jamie Walker, who left for Bradford, Mihai Popescu, who is now in the Belgian Super League. I didn't even know that. He's playing for FCV Farul. Cool. Jamie Brandon went to Livingston, Aaron McInnes went to Perth Glory, and Loic Damour, depressingly, went to FC Versailles.
So, and then you've got the 3 loanees from last season that weren't kept on, Taylor Moore, Ben Woodburn, and Ellis Sims.
Absolutely. So that is an official outs of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, with obviously on top of the loan players that we didn't keep on. So 10 in, 6 out, if you want to include the loan players, 8 out. How do you feel that the window has gone as a whole? Rank it out of 10.
Pretty good. We go. For us to rank it out of 10, 7.5, 8.
I was going to say 7.5 as well. So I'd give it 7. I wish we'd got a right centre half. I know we've got Lewis Nielsen, but I mean an experienced one.
An established, ready-made right centre half, because we knew about the Souttar situation from February? January, February
time.
So that is a wee bit annoying. But in fairness, Kai Rolls has been great.
Yeah.
It's just that we've sort of needed to work on. I mean, if everybody's fully fit, that'd be a start.
Yeah, exactly.
And then have a kind of back 4 stroke back 3 on occasion, tailor-made and good to go. Yeah. That obviously hasn't been the case yet. I think at the minute, I'd just like to see more from the forward players, and I include Robert Snodgrass within that, having just joined. And again, Stephen Humphreys, we'd like to see score a goal soon. So, yeah.
I think some people have had their view of the window affected, as you said, by the injuries, and it's that we've never had a fully fit. Halkett's still not really played. Kingsley's barely played.
That's what I'm trying to say. Thanks, mate. You just keep going.
Yeah.
Thanks for saving my bacon here. I could be slowing some of them in a couple of weeks, months' time. But at the minute, all's well in our world, bar recent performances, recent results, and we just need to get out of this slump.
I think so far, every one of those signings has made us better as a squad, which is all you can ask for in transfers. Obviously, we don't know the case with Keogh, we don't know the case with Snodgrass and stuff like that,
and they're probably two the most that I'm excited about. So
100%, definitely. However, the big talking point is that as we are recording this, we are on the eve of Hearts playing European group stage football.
My God.
and travelling to Tynecastle at a stupid time, 5:45 in the evening. It is Istanbul Başakşehir here, who
Not bad.
just thanks, who just are on the little aspect of a 23 game unbeaten streak.
And that's where it'll end.
Yeah. They've not lost a game since the 27th of March. Obviously, there's a gap there of no games. Still a very, very good record to have. They currently sit third in the Super League with a game in hand over top of the league. So if they win that, they'll go top. They are managed by, as Adam revealed to me in pre-recorded, I didn't actually realise this, they're managed by Emre Belözoğlu, the former Newcastle United midfielder. So I'm buzzing about that.
I just remember him playing under Graham Souness. And for those that want it, I did manage to catch a photo of McIver's reaction once I told him. So feel free to hit me up on Twitter. Yeah. He was astounded. It was quite nice.
Yeah, I cannot believe that. Obviously, he played in the Turkish side that got to the semi-finals of the 2002 World Cup, the 2008 Euros.
Baller. Back in the day.
Fantastic. It was one of the few positives of Graham Souness's tenure at Newcastle United. He also got a fucking class assist for Sami Amiobi in a time with Derby, right? So, love you. However, he won't be here, which is one of the big talking points. He isn't able to travel with the squad.
And a couple other absentees.
Yeah, so basically, it's all the people I would have liked to see. The only positive of this game for me was we're going to get battered, but I'll end up seeing folk that I've wanted to see before. No, Mesut Ozil, not travelling with the squad due to an injury. Nasser Chadli, not travelling with the squad because he's probably on his way out. Emre Belözoğlu, he's not here because he doesn't have his coaching badges or something weird. Like it's some weird UEFA thing. What's going on?
We're not going to see a World Cup winner. Instead, we're going to see a bloke that was at Livingston last season and was previously playing for Ayr. So... Yeah. I know which one I'd rather see.
Come on. We will be seeing, terrifyingly, Bertrand Traore. And just the idea of him running at Michael Smith is absolutely terrifying. So,
because Villa paid big dough for him a couple of years back, did they not? Was it not like 20 mil or something like
that? It was something like that, yes.
I mean, have Hearts spent 20 mil in 140 years?
Exactly. To be honest, we probably did it again, like during the Romanov era.
We spent it on fireworks alone.
Exactly. So yeah, it's, to put it lightly, it's daunting. It's terrifying. But it is the game that people are saying, if we get something from, we potentially have a chance of getting through the group. If we lose, that's it. The European dream is already over in the first game because we're not getting anything in Turkey. We're probably not getting anything against Fiorentina at the time, and we should
probably not.
Hey.
I would have thought most definitely not.
Who knows? Anything can happen.
It's just this whole experience is just so hard. It's uncanny. The fact that we flipped basically our way. In terms of how it's fallen, I mean, we were third by a country mile last season. I mean, in terms of how the tables have turned for us gaining this Europa League playoff place, to then crash out of that to the Swiss champions, who, in my eyes, weren't great, as an absolute riddy, and to then be put out of the Conference League that we've only fallen into because we got beat off said Swiss champions, and then have our dreams ended after 90 minutes. Is the most heart-loading thing I think I've ever seen. So I can't even say that I'm quietly confident. I would love to be lying to you, McIver, and saying I believe there's a slim chance that we could turn them over. I've got to be honest. I can't see it, but it's going to be great. Look, for me, I don't even think like anything in Europe was going to be a bonus anyway. This is about the experience. Mm-hmm. This is seeing what a decent Turkish outfit are like.
See Bertrand Traore.
We're wanting to see the levels that we've got or have ambitions, aspirations to reach. See exactly how far we are off good European outfits. The Fiorentina matches terrify me.
I do think people have to remember,
But
this is the first seeded team. Fiorentina weren't the first seed. This is, like, by points, this is the best side.
If you covered your eyes as to who the opponents were, this is deemed to be the elite within the group.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Which in itself is very scary. Look, I'd love to say that we've got a chance, but I wouldn't be believing it. But a stranger things have happened. We can replicate that Zurich performance and actually take a chance.
Who knows?
You never know. Am I confident at the minute that we could go and do that? Sorry to cut you off again. Probably not.
I have one question for you.
Is my thing. Yes.
Because you're saying, and I fully agree, that it's like a free hit. We're just there to be there, like, hopefully build. What would you rotate? Would you rest? And would you prioritise this weekend? I know that sounds like multiple questions, but the main point is just, would you rotate?
I get what you're alluding to, but no, I wouldn't, because it's a free hit. So why? If we're as good as we think we are, we should turn over St Mirren on Sunday. I just want to see how far we've got to go, or how much better they are than us. That sounds horrible, but you get what I mean. I want to compare. I think that's only natural. And if you're asking me, particularly after that shit show on Saturday, I want to see a strong Hearts team put out, and I want to see a strong Hearts team give a good account of themselves, of the club, and try and go toe-to-toe as best they can with a decent European outfit. That's what I'd like to see.
I get that. But
for
at
me,
least
our bread and butter.
Yeah, the more important game is...
Of course it is. I know.
So I just don't want to risk another injury.
But it's like... Okay, say we're in the hunt for third after the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
We'd be feeling good about our chances to go on and try and claim that.
Mm-hmm. That's very true.
Like, to an extent, it depends on the point gap. If we're there or thereabouts, great, because then we can go on, repeat the feat of last season, and try and reach European football on a more consistent basis.
Obviously, the dream is put out a strong team tomorrow night, or tonight as you listen to this.
Don't be too knackered.
Well, just do something. Don't get hurt, and then be able to play on Sunday and then get a result. So yeah, as long as we win on Sunday, I'm happy for any team to play, to be honest.
Yes, because there's no expectation.
Yes, exactly. However, I am going to ask you for your score prediction.
Christ. Do you know what? I don't genuinely believe this, but if it comes in, I'll look like a genius. Celtic did lose by 3, Rangers did lose by 4, so we'll lose by 5. No, I'm only kidding. I'll go 1-3.
You will score.
That's as optimistic as you're going to get from me. That we score. If it be like an equaliser or to take the lead, I think that would be up there, particularly in terms of Tynecastle goals.
Yeah.
Because the ones that we always think of are like Beattie at Hampden or Temps at Anfield.
Kingsley at Hampden.
Ryan Edwards at Hampden before they chucked that final. That feeling was unbelievable. So in terms of Tynecastle, if we score to either take the lead or like grab an equaliser and have the fans believing, I don't think I'll have felt as good as that since Davy Milinkovic's 4th in the 4-0 against Celtic.
Yeah. Yeah.
In terms of a Tynecastle goal.
That's probably true. That is probably true. I'm going 3-0 game. Nice. No hope.
Both convinced they'll score 3. That's good.
Yeah. I just think they are handedly better than us. And not for the want of trying, I just don't think we'll be able to really lay a glove on them.
Do you think we'll give a good account of ourselves then? No.
I hope so. I hope so.
We're in it for the experience. Do you know what? Yeah. What happens.
Exactly. And anyway, the true priority of this episode is the quiz.
No, the true priority of this bloody quiz and show is the Who Am I? This is haunting my life.
Can he do it on the
I can't.
100th episode?
This would be the perfect time to do it, so I won't.
There's a part of me that wants you to do it just because it's the 100th
I want
episode.
myself to do it. I've never wanted, forget Ruben Palazuelos and these other jokers that have been haunting me. This is the one I want.
I also don't want you to, because it would be funnier from the 100th episode. You don't. But anyway, we'll need to get to that first.
But we'll find out now.
Yes,
Here we
exactly.
go.
So, as usual, 5 questions. Who am I? True or false? Multiple choice. And 2 just normal ones. So, the first one. With Hearts about to play their first group stage European games since 04-05, what points total did we get the last time we were in the groups? If you need a reminder of the group, it was Feyenoord,
Schalke, Feyenoord, Ferencváros, and Basel.
Yep.
Is it just 3 with a win over Basel?
Is that your answer?
I don't know. I can't feel as though we got points anywhere else, so I'm going to say 3.
He's off to a good start. It is 3. Woo! 1 win, 3 losses, and as you correctly said, we beat Basel through Robbie Nielsen's goal. Question number 2, true or false? Our new signing, Robert Snodgrass, first made his name by having a trial with Barcelona.
I love how serious your face is here.
Because I'm reading the quote. So it's Robert Snodgrass first broke into the scene by having a trial with Barcelona Spanish giants.
So you just give me the answer, yes.
No.
Yes, you have. I'll say true.
I'm actually a better actor than you think. It's false. Yes!
I can't believe I've just been done like a kipper like that.
But do you want to know an interesting fact?
I was Real Madrid.
No, he was offered a trial with Barcelona, but turned them down.
Really?
That's why he got his name. He was at Livingston's academy and he got into front page news in Glasgow because a Livingston youngster had turned down a Barcelona trial.
Bloody hell. That's an old head on young shoulders. It was
also why he was offered... upon doing research for this, I found out he was offered deals from both Rangers and Livingston, and he thought he had no chance getting into the Rangers Academy team, so he went to Livingston instead. Smart man.
Like that. Unlike me.
Yes, unlike you, who will buy anything.
It's just been baited.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, now I don't care if you get the Who Am I, because that moment happened, so buzzing. Speaking about ourselves, the multiple choice is, despite this being episode 100 of the Perth to Paisley podcast, how many episodes have we as a duo released in total? So this is the multiple choice.
Oh, Jesus.
Is it A, 104? Is it B, 105? Or is it C, 103?
Oh, you bastard. Right, hold on a second.
Is that going on to Spotify?
No, is that including this episode? I'll leave my hands here because I'm not going to...
Yes, including this episode.
So including this... So this could be, I feel like I've seen 104 when I go on the Apple thing, like to upload. So I want to say, do I want to say that this is, yeah, hold on a second. Because this would be 100 episodes with the Scotland ones, and we had Andy Driver as a separate. But then we also had that, oh no, because Nielsen... after Brora replaced 37, which we deleted. Oh, God. I think this takes us to 105.
Is that your answer?
I'm gonna go with 105, yeah.
Correct.
Nice.
There is 100 episodes of the Perth to Paisley podcast, 4 episodes of Perth to Paisley at the Euros, and an interview with Andy Drive.
Yes. Hey, come on,
Smashed
I pay
it.
attention. I should hope so.
I was about to say, if you got that wrong, that would have been really worrying.
Oh, we bit of arithmetic there. Yeah, we bit some maths, but we got there in the end.
So, going back to the football club, we've started this season with no clean sheets in 9 games. 13 going back to last season. That's the worst run since the 13-14 administration season. How many games did we go in that season without a clean sheet?
16.
You also saw Joe Sked's tweet, and I wasn't sure.
Up you. Yeah. Come on.
I've a lot of the questions in this series for me has been Adam doesn't pay attention to Twitter, so it's worked all the time.
Get up, you. Come on.
Well done. Right.
This is it though.
This is the one.
I've never wanted to get a question as right in my life.
The who am I?
Right.
So
thinking cap on.
I joined Hearts for over £250,000 and made my debut in a European qualifier. I, however, nearly left Hearts for the exact same fee that I joined for and to the exact same club before I was made to stay by being offered to change my position. In the 3 years that I was at Hearts, I was made vice-captain for the remaining 18 months of my time, and in my final game, received a standing ovation. I think this is the easiest one I've given you. Apart from maybe Ruben Pals-Wales.
I don't have any figures running through my head at all. I've literally got nobody. Give us the clues again, please.
So, I joined Hearts. The last couple. So, I nearly left Hearts for the exact same fee I joined for and to the same club I had previously left, but was convinced to stay. But was convinced to stay by the manager who offered to change my position. I was there for 3 years, and in the final 18 months of my time at Hearts, I was made vice-captain and received a standing ovation in my final game.
And it's somebody in our lifetime?
Yes.
The manager changed my... Can I guess who the gaffer was?
Of course you can.
Question. Was the gaffer Craig Levine?
It was not.
Change my position?
In neither of his spells. It wasn't Levine recently or way back in 2002.
I think I might know who it is, but I really don't know. The change of position thing makes me think. Can I guess the manager? Yeah.
Yeah.
Was the gaffer Daniel Stendhal?
Incorrect.
Fuck. I thought I was onto something.
Right, I'm not giving you any more. You've got 2 shots at the manager.
I thought it was Sean Clare, but I don't know now.
I thought that was going to be your guess.
That's really annoying. Ah! Offered to change my position. We've paid peas for this guy. Initially, when you were reading it out, I was thinking like Mirsad Besleja or somebody like that. But he's a record bloody Don't do that face to me. A record transfer. If it's Mirsad Besleja, I will be crying my eyes out.
Who knows? Is this going to be third time when you say the person's name?
Oh, shut up, mate.
And then don't guess it.
Because we signed him from Genk. Is that right?
Yes, we did sign Besleja from Genk.
Would he go back to Genk for big peas? I don't know.
Well, that seems quite important for the question.
I know, mate. This is so annoying. Because I thought you were going to try and be clever here by like, he comes in for free and he leaves for free. But the fact that we've paid money is really annoying.
Yep.
It can't be somebody like an Aaron McInnes because we've never vice-captained us. The vice-captain thing as well. Like, Besleja wasn't. Sean Clare wasn't. Why am I... Oh, it's annoying. God. I don't know.
You're going to have to guess.
I really don't know. I want to keep asking questions, and I don't.
No,
like that ruins it. I know.
Yeah, because I wasn't allowed to do that last week when I got Eggy Johnson.
But you did ask questions, and
I asked 2, and you've asked 2. You just wasted them both on management-based questions.
Oh, I have no idea. I don't have the foggiest, mate.
Don't do what you did with Ruben and just not say a name. You need to say a name.
You're just gonna try and like rope me into saying Besleja or somebody.
I didn't think it was Eggy Johnson, but went with Eggy Johnson that was right.
I know exactly what you're trying to do.
I'm not trying to tell you.
You're trying to rope me in.
No, I'm not at all. I would never do that to you, especially not in 100th episode. I'm just saying, name somebody.
Paid big money, vice captain. Like Paul Hartley wouldn't have gone back to bloody St Johnstone or wherever it was for 200 odd grand. Stop pulling these faces. He went to Celtic and we were wanting a mill. Oh, God, this is so annoying. Big money, vice captain. Who gaffers? Who have been gaffers?
That's quite a long list.
Oh, yeah, particularly under Romanov. It has to be like a memorable time. They have to have been like, is it somebody like Jim Jeffries or is it Paolo Sergio that was in charge? I don't know. Oh, God almighty. This is tough, man.
I'm chuffed with my Who Am I's. They make you think. I'll be interested to see if people have got it already.
Watch everybody have got this so far.
Oh, apparently everybody last week got Eggy Johnson by the time you got halfway through the clues.
Really?
The Wolves one made everybody go, oh, and I just never knew that as a fact, so I was knackered. Right, going to need to have an answer now.
Oh, don't put pressure on me, mate.
It's been 4 minutes now.
Thanks. I don't have a clue. I don't know. Did I just say Bisleyja because he was in my skull?
Is that your answer?
I think I do because I don't have anybody else. It's not, is it? It's not.
People are going to think this is rigged.
Go on.
People are going to think this is scripted.
Go on.
Nah, it's not Bisleyja.
No.
You're incorrect again. That is Adam Kennedy.
Don't tell me that I've said the person.
You haven't actually. You never even got the manager.
Who was it?
The club that we signed this player for was Thessaloniki. And he was going to go back to Thessaloniki.
Is it Takis Fisas?
It is not Takis Fisas. It is big Christos Karapidis.
I'd never got that. I'd never got that. I've got to be honest.
So,
crikey.
The explanation of all of them.
What a player he was as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Baller.
So, he joined in 2006. 2006, he joined. He then made his debut when we lost to AEK Athens at Murrayfield.
Okay.
Lost the game 2-1. However,
that was I've left that stadium as
I was at that
7-8-year-old boy crying my eyes out. That's as I cried the whole way home. And he was like, I don't know what you're greeting it because I've never had it so good as a Hearts fan. So
exactly. However, it says that in August 2008, so 2 years after he signed, he hadn't really done, as Wikipedia says, following an indifferent start to his Hearts career and the birth of his daughter, he wanted to go back to Thessaloniki. Hearts had actually negotiated a fee and agreed personal terms with him on a 4-year deal. But then Shaba Laszlo, who had just been newly appointed, said...
Was he the one that kicked him back to centre-half, was it?
No, he was a centre-half.
Oh, and he wanted to...
And then he was going to be a CDM. So he was number 6. In February 2009, we sell Christoph Berra to Wolves. Robbie Nielsen gets given the captaincy. Karapidis gets the vice-captaincy. And he
Didn't even know that.
Yeah, neither did I, to be honest, doing this.
Didn't know that.
He then left, and his final appearance was in a 3-0 win against Dundee United, which confirmed our place in the UEFA Cup as it was then in that game, and it confirmed us third. And he got brought on as a sub for Jason Thompson. Now, Arbroath?
No, he's just signed for Kelty, actually.
Kelty.
I saw him at the Cup final, actually, Jason Thompson.
Did you?
And in his retro top. I was like, what a guy.
He was replaced by him, and he got a standing ovation from the Hearts fans in what was his last game.
Lovely. Oh, what a player. I'm not really annoyed because I'd never got that, but that's nice. That's a wholesome one. Well done, mate.
I'm really glad you didn't ask the clubs, because if I said Thessaloniki, that immediately narrows it down to Greece, and we've only had 4 Greek people. But you were fixated on Daniel Stendhal and Craig Levine.
Still chose the wrong Greek player as well, mind you.
True, you did. You did.
So, No, wouldn't have got that. I'll be like, if anybody has that, fair play.
Yeah.
You can replace me on the podcast. Well done.
0 for 6 though.
What, have I done 6 of these?
Aye.
Fuck off. No chance of we
You're 0
recorded.
for 5. You're 0 for 5.
Really?
Yeah.
Who have mine been then? Paisley lost, Carapidis.
Vitavine. And
Vitavine, Jesus.
Oh no, you've done 4. And thingy. Jean-Louis Valois. 0 for 4. Not 0 for 6. 0 for 4.
I should have got 2 of those. The other 2, I'm not as bothered.
I think you should have got Paisley lost and Valois.
Paisley lost is the one that kills me.
Yeah.
And Vitavine, I literally said, of all the obscure heart strikers to throw out there, David Vitavine was the one that I chose. Let's just end this now before I start crying.
Well, massive thank you for joining us on the episode 100. And thank you for joining us in any episodes that you've joined us. If this is your first one, if you've actually decided, right, they've got to 100, I'm done now. Thanks for your previous...
Don't blame you.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't even ken Carapidis. But massive, massive thank you to all of you. We're looking forward to playing in the Conference League tonight, or yesterday as we got battered 9-0 if you're listening to this after the game.
Now, let's shove it out. Let's do a little bit of on-air admin. Let's shove it out Thursday lunchtime. We'll chuck up a teaser tonight. As soon as we're finished recording here, I'll chuck up a teaser saying that we're back tomorrow lunchtime. 100th episode. Get on it.
Perfect. Well, if you have enjoyed this, as I say every week, please do share it around. It massively helps us. If you've just been listening on a podcast platform, leave us a review on that. Massively, massively helps us. If you've been watching on YouTube, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment. That massively helps us as well. All the socials were Perth to Paisley. You can get us on all of them. We've also got an email, perthtopaisley@gmail.com. Adam, where can they get you on all the socials?
I realise that I say get on it as they're either watching or listening to this. So that's really silly. And you'll probably have seen my tweets at Adam T. Kendall like I am on all the socials. What about you, mate?
I am at DMcIver22. We'll be back next week to cover all the games, preview all the games, and hopefully we'll be back for hundreds more. However, if we keep going with the Who Am I, we're probably going to get cancelled because Adam doesn't ken anybody. But until next week, where I'll have to get the Who Am I because I'm on a roll now. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Come on the Hearts!